All right, today's presentation is going to be about SAMR, an educational technology framework that we are hoping to implement in our building. So first up, we have a video explaining what SAMR is. So let's all just take a minute to watch that and come back and discuss what we have learned. All right. So, why are we talking about SAMR today? Why do we need a framework to use the technology we have? So SAMR can help give purpose to the lessons that you are already doing in your classroom and to what you hope to accomplish. It helps us both as teachers, and it helps our students to move beyond the simple reason because we have this technology, that's why we have to use it, into finding things that are exciting and unique to the technology and that can't be done another way. SAMR is helpful for all teachers because it categorizes the different technology uses. So in the different levels of SAMR, and I'm going to use the word levels even though I don't always think one is above another. It's just kind of an easy way to describe them. Teachers are challenged to try tasks at other levels. Many teachers are comfortable doing one thing or using technology in one way, and SAMR kind of breaks that down and helps them move to other areas. And finally, SAMR is here for the teachers who are asking, how can I be more effective in my classroom with technology or otherwise, and how can I be more efficient with what I am doing? So the levels of SAMR, and once again, I'm using that word levels loosely. So SAMR is a framework to help teachers integrate technology into their classroom at multiple levels. And the 4 levels that are then broken into 2 groups are substitution and augmentation, and then modification and redefinition. So at the bottom there is substitution. So I would argue everyone in this room uses substitution if we use technology at all, because the technology we use is replacing a task that we used to do without it. So papers are typed on computers or iPads instead of being written by hand. That is a substitution. Notes are taken on iPads, worksheets are completed there. Those are all substitution of technology from ways we used to do it. Now, augmentation is a little bit more. So not only are we using the technology to do something we used to do, but now we're able to do it better. By using smartboards and Apple TVs, we're able to give more interactive lessons than we did when we did overhead projectors. We're able to incorporate videos and web links in a way that we weren't before, but we haven't vastly changed necessarily what we're doing. We're still up there giving a lesson. So that is an example of augmentation. And we will talk about other examples as they come up in the next few slides here. Modification is more than just adding a little something. Modification means you've changed the task somewhat significantly and in a way that you wouldn't have been able to do without the technology. And then finally, redefinition. The technology allows for the creation of new tasks, previously inconceivable. And I know this is going on in our building. New assignments and projects and ideas are being created because of the technology we have that we weren't able to do 5 years ago. All right, so a few more examples at each of the levels here. So substitution, as I mentioned, an example of this would just be completing notes or completing a worksheet using the iPads instead of on paper. The assignment is still the exact same, often the same exact PDF. It's now just being completed in one place instead of another. Augmentation. An example I thought of for this would be video answer keys compared to just the paper. And there's a couple levels to that. So not only is there the audio level explaining the work versus just showing what it is, but then there are things like closed captioning. So our students who need a little bit more assistance in the reading and hearing aspect have that little augmentation, that little addition from the technology that they wouldn't have gotten just looking at a paper answer key. Modification. So one that I'm sure almost every teacher has tried are Google Docs. And they are a modification because they are allowing students to work simultaneously on the same document. They can all be writing at the same time. They can be all writing at the same time from home, commenting to each other and editing each other's work as they go. So this is more than just a group paper where you split up the tasks and everyone does their part. This is collaborative learning, cooperative learning, where students have to kind of come together. Google Docs also allow for embedded images, videos, links that turn it into more than just a hard copy printed paper. By leaving it as a living document, it becomes multimedia and interactive in a way that a paper alone would not be. And then finally, redefinition. So here it's using the technology to do something you couldn't have done without it. Creating videos, using multimedia within the video. I know teachers here are creating podcasts. So things like this that 10 years ago we wouldn't have really thought about as an assignment accessible to all students is now something that we are assigning in our classes. And then I know often on these PD days when we hear about one more kind of thing we have to include in our lessons, one more idea to incorporate into our classes. And so I just wanted to take a moment to connect this SAMR idea with some of the other frameworks we're trying to build into our classes. So I just wanted to talk about how SAMR can work with the high operational practices to add more to your lessons. So activating student strengths were one of the HOPs I pulled out. And so technology is a strength for a lot of our students. And so just by using that technology at all, you are activating the strength of some students. But any level of technology, you're giving students choice. So even if it's a paper versus online worksheet, a paper versus online quiz, by giving students that choice, you're letting them identify their strengths and choose what's going to be best for them. The next HOP, eliciting high intellectual performance. So with our modification and redefinition, we are asking more of students. We are asking them to be creative. We are asking them to think outside of a traditional assignment, and we are going to get more exciting results, hopefully. So by changing and redefining our lessons, we are redefining what students are capable of doing. Providing enrichment. When we augment and modify the technology used in the lesson, the content and assessments are augmented and modified as well. So we are providing enrichment even by kind of linking to other things that students can do after they've completed the original task. It's there for them. And finally, amplifying student voice. And when we talk about this, I know we've talked about the literal voice of students in the classroom, as well as just making sure they have a space in the classroom. And I like the idea of adding literal student voice to their work in the videos they're making, in the podcasts they're creating. They are putting their voice out into the world and knowing that it has a place, there is a place there for them. All right, so some experts compare SAMR to a ladder. I talked about the idea of levels, but I think a ladder implies that you're going to be at the top. You're reaching for the top. And I don't know if that's the right idea here. Every content area, we need students to be successful at all levels of skill. They need to know the basics and they need to push themselves into the higher applications. And then the same is true for this technology. So redefinition does not automatically make a lesson better than a lesson that uses substitution. We need the technology to be at all the levels. Especially, you need that base to support you when you're up there on the top. All right, so now with those around you, I would like you to brainstorm about how you are already achieving the different levels of SAMR in your classroom, whatever that may be. I am confident that you have reached one of the 4 levels here, and what you could do or add to your lessons to reach a level you might not be hitting as often. Thanks, and have a great day.